Well, I went to the burger shed today because somehow Bud said, Tavin, I heard you wrote a book. I said, yeah, buddy, I wrote a book. I took him out on the tour. He goes, I want to take a look at that. So I took it down there. It says milk toast analogy and 88 other things that Tavin Dillard said. And, you know, it's got these different chapters in there. And he said, boy, you wrote a chapter book? I said, well, there's Tavin talks about the law, Tavin talks about work, Tavin talks about the family, Tavin talks about relationship, Tavin talks about food. You know, just different things I talk about. And then some of the pages have pictures. And boy, there's some people in the burger shed that perked up when I heard about that. So I said, Bud, you know what? This is yours, buddy. And he couldn't believe it. But before I even handed it to him, we look out the window. They got some construction north of the burger shed, and then there's a Sno-Cone stand out there on that lot right now. And Doug Stratton, he's working it right now this spring, probably through the summer too. But on his breaks, he'll lock up the little Sno-Cone stand and hit these dirt ramps that are on the construction site. He made them into ramps, you know. And buddy, no sooner than I'm about to hand the book over to Bud and say, here you go, buddy, enjoy the book. I look out there, Bud looks out there, and boy, Doug is going down hard. You know when somebody hits the ground and then they just kind of plop straight up, like they hit the daggum ground so hard that they come up like a foot off the ground. You know, if you're hitting something that don't give none, I mean, it ain't a trampoline, buddy. This is asphalt that he's landing on. He hit that thing, and he jumped up about a foot off the ground, and then he landed and just kind of, you could hear him through the glass, and he's over there about 50 yards, just, You know, just one of them, like he didn't mean to make that sound, just like it knocked it out of him, came from deep, deep, deep down in him, Sure enough, he okay, but he learned a business lesson today, and that lesson is, people don't want to take a Sno-Cone from a man with a bloody elbow. He's a tough one, or he's a dumb one, or maybe a little of both. I guess if you're going to be dumb, you better be tough because you run into a lot of trouble that way. And so Mort Dwight L's in the burger shed too, and he says, Tavin, you wrote that book? I said, yeah. And he said, and you took it on your tour with you when you went on your little tour? And I said, yeah, you know what else, Mort? I talked about you on the tour. And he said, you did not. I said, I told him about how you can't have no milk. I ain't never heard nothing like that before. He goes, you need to take me on the tour with you, and I'll tell him all about it. I said, I ain't going to do it. And he said, well, then maybe you can tell this story when you're on tour this time too. And just then he pulls his foot up on the table and takes his shoe off and says, looky here. And I never saw what was on his foot, but I can tell you what it smelled like. Boy, Bud was furious. He said, no, come on, Mort, put your shoe back on. You can't do that in here. Let me just put it to you like this. There was a long old line at the Sno-Cone stand just like that. And people would rather get a Sno-Cone from a man with a bloody elbow than to be in the burger shed with Mort Dwight L's foot up on the table. Speaking of touring, y'all, I'm back out on the road in June, South Carolina and Georgia. Y'all can check the link below to see how to get to them. Tickets are on sale now for the Georgia show. In South Carolina, tickets are only sold at the door on the night of June 8th, at the night of the show. Boy, I want somebody to have this book this week, and if you follow me on the Twitter and you ask me a question on Twitter about the tour in June, and I answer it on the video next week, because I'm going to answer a question about the tour next week, then I'm going to send you one of these and I'm going to write my name in. I'll say something like, thanks for looking at the book and the pictures and the words. Tavin Dillard, something like that. So follow me on Twitter and ask me a question this week about the tour. And then if I use your question next week, this is going to be in the mailbox for you pretty soon. So make a road trip out of it. I want to see you in Georgia or South Carolina in June. Check the link below for all the details. Have a good week. Take care of your elbows and your feet, and we'll talk to you later.